We're just after the enemy. This is a common enemy. Let's bring them down.
Absolutely. Let's take another call here. Pull up the call list. Todd in Florida, you're on the air.
Yeah, I'm calling about the bailout, and I'm a small business owner.
Well, now we know it's the cash bonus out. They're taking hundreds of billions of it with one division of Goldman Sachs. They're giving $14 billion in bonuses.
Well, to tell you a little story that happened to me, we're a small business with under 15 employees. We sell durable goods. Our problem started mainly in May when, with good credit, we couldn't get any loans. We were denied by all sources, which was shocking to me when I couldn't understand why, but now I foresee where that came from. So we had to use all of our cash flow for our savings for our cash flow and expansion of the company. And when the economy just kept falling down, it just kind of ruined us almost. We're living day to day now. And we couldn't get a loan now if we wanted to. I'm saying, where's the small business bailout?
Well, no, that's what listen, they said it was a bailout for the people, and then but you notice the fine print, so they can just keep it all and not even discuss it. And so now they're saying, you know what, we're keeping all the money personally. Yep. I mean, the execs are saying it's ours, shut up. And if you don't like it, the Army's standing by.
When I called my local bank just yesterday, dealing with them for, 7, 8 years. Spent a lot of money in that bank. And I talked to some of the tellers and stuff, and threw up to them about this bailout that they're getting. They're saying, we're not getting no bailout. I says, well, that's untrue what I've read.
Well, the local banks aren't getting it. In fact, the big banks, the only thing that isn't going to bonuses to CEOs and people is buying other banks. And then the little banks don't have a choice because the big boys, the big banks control the regulators. They come in and hand them over. Just like Bob said a couple months ago with Bear Stearns, Bob called it. He said, or was it Lehman Brothers? I forget now. He said, this is a takeover. Bob?
A financial assassination. That's what Bear Stearns was.
Yeah.
And then Lehman Brothers was so far gone. They had messed that company up so much, they had to let it go down. But in that process, if you notice, the settlement on the derivatives was not announced. All it was said was it was done with expediency. That meant the government came in and come up with the money and lent it to the people who went naked on the derivatives and got caught offside for goodness knows how much money. And my guess is anywhere between $5 billion and $270 billion. And then they've got AIG, where they're stealing all the money, where they were bankrupt. I mean, it's just incredible. And this gentleman can't get a loan to expedite the performance of his business.
Well, I wouldn't say this would be a local bank. I mean more a local branch of a big bank. I don't know if I can say the name.
Just name it.
SunTrust.
Name it.
SunTrust. And after speaking to the tellers, they said, we're not getting a bailout. But what I've read, that they are getting a bailout. And I had questioned some ridiculous fees that were on my accounts and said, hey, help us out here. Well, as I started moving up the line, talking to heads up in the bank, as I had mentioned this bailout, they kind of giggled at me almost like I had, well, who are you to have the audacity?
No. I mean, that's what this is all about. It's about enjoying laughing at everybody.
Yeah, and then I'd finally talked to the head person at that branch, which I think was a VP or something, and I had asked about it. I said, why don't you help the little guy out a little bit? Give me 0.1% of that to help us out. And she says, that money is for investors. That was her exact word.
Well, I mean, let's go further. They've cut interest rates again. They're talking about cutting them down to the lowest ever, basically zero. But the public's paying more in interest rates. Bob Chapman.
That's the market. That's the free market. And the reason those rates are up is, particularly in U.S. paper, like U.S. treasuries and agencies. In fact, the agencies are now guaranteed by the government, and they're selling for 1 point to 1.5 points, and they're AAA, above the treasury paper. So obviously, everybody around the world who is into buying those kinds of things is saying, hey, we don't want them no matter whether you guarantee them there or not. So you got to take that one step further. If they're doing that, why are they doing that? They're doing it because they think the United States is bankrupt.
That's
it.
We're
talking about foreigners buying U.S. paper.
All right, Todd, thanks. Ed in South Dakota, you're on the air with Bob Chapman. Go ahead.
Guys. How you guys doing today?
Good.
Good. Hey, I wanted to talk about a little bit of Fabian society. You know anything about the Fabian Society?
Yeah, the Fabian Socialists set up in the 1850s in England to gradually bring in socialism and to consolidate the wealth of the middle class into the hands of the elites.
Exactly.
It's a eugenicist society.
There you go.
And it was
Marcus
George
behind
Bernard
it all.
Shaw and the Webbs, and they were the moving force in the late 1800s.
Well, you've heard about that window that they've had that disappeared, where it had the two guys beating on the earth with the anvil. You've heard of this window?
No.
With the saying of Omar Khayyam, "Dear love, couldst." Anyway, I think this is the key to the whole secret here of what's going on. What they're going to do is shatter the world to bits, because as the Carnegie Foundation and the Ford Foundation have said, war is the best way to remold society. War, it will shatter society to bits, break it apart, and then they can remold it nearer to their heart's desire.
Which is a giant eugenics extermination camp, scientifically controlled, with men in black uniforms and psychiatrists slaughtering and ripping human souls to pieces in a giant charnel house of death and destruction. Huge rotting piles of dead bodies, a New World Order wonderland. I'm skipping this break for the PrisonPlanet.tv viewers. Stay with us. Continue, Ed, in South Dakota with the points you're making. Yes, they want to order out of chaos. They've said create a world banking crisis to then offer their world government, world banks running everything, setting world currencies, openly announcing New World Order.
It looks like Ed dropped.
Ed dropped. What is it like, Bob Chapman, to see them now announcing everything we always said they would do?
It's normal to me. It's just, when you have been at this for so long, you expect certain things. And I try not to allow that to deter my thinking. I'm trying to, like you are, to inform people of who is the enemy, who wants to make their life difficult or miserable or to do away with them. And so that message is far, far stronger than any of the things that I see which are nasty and unbearable. And so you just keep on going forward, not taking no for an answer until they permanently shut you up or you win.
And, Bob, they've certainly tried to persecute you over the last 40-something years of fighting.
Believe me, we could do hours of programming. But that's okay. I'm a tough guy, and I know how to handle it.
Well, I mean, you're over the target when you're getting the flag.
It's okay. I shoot back.
Yeah, it's one thing
the words are killing them.
Well, I mean, it's one thing to be intellectually aware of this, but it's another thing to see it happening. I keep making that point. I mean, here we are kind of glazing over. Oh, yeah, major international news. Rand lobbies Pentagon to start World War to save U.S. economy up on PrisonPlanet.com, just so they can consolidate control. They thinly veil it there and say it's for the economy. Yeah, for them to further consolidate it. And, yeah, I mean, we so expect this that when it comes out, we're like, yeah, we told you so. I mean, there is that danger of being so mentally prepared for this, so aware of it, so informed that you almost become comfortable with it. Do you know what I'm talking about, Bob?
You've got to say to yourself, no matter what they do, it's my job to engage and attack and ultimately conquer what they're doing.
And never give up. Well, you got to have.
If everybody had that attitude in America, we would have already been winners.
Exactly. I mean, so much of war, info war, physical war, is making the enemy decide they can't win and breaking their spirit. If somebody won't give up, they're basically, you can't beat them unless you were like the Romans and then just killed everybody. But, that was hard too. So, and I guess that's what the population reduction's about, is they understand that and they want to go ahead and just wipe most of us out.
And a lot of them in the process. But that slips into the back of their cranium because they don't want to know that.
Yeah, I was interrupting you there when you were trying to make the point about, just committing fully and never stopping.
That's right. And all you people out there, you've got to have the guts to do it. You have to have the guts when you tell people what's going on and you get rejected, just smile and say, that's okay, I'll be back. And you go on to the next person. All you have to do is convince 1 out of 100 and we're winners. You got to look at it that way.
Yeah, I mean, I remember 15 years ago going around to city events and trying to just speak people on the street when I first really woke up. Then I figured out I better get on the air. That's the way you're supposed to do this. But people would laugh at me, and it would kind of hurt a little bit, but I was so desperate to warn them that I didn't mind it. Now, it actually makes me work harder and doesn't, my ego, I don't want to say is shrunk, but it's more like I just don't care. I'm so
it doesn't exist.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so mission-oriented that it doesn't matter if a whole group of people are booing at me. I mean, I know I'm telling the truth, and that's it.
That's right, and that's the same attitude I have, and that's why at 73 years old I'm still doing this, and I will do it until I can't do it anymore or they're defeated.
Let's go back to the full audience. Here we go.